Yo, what is going on, everybody? So, I was watching First Take on ESPN this morning, and let me tell you, the San Francisco 49ers segment absolutely blew my mind. Stephen A. Smith and the whole crew were going off about everything happening with this franchise, from the coaching staff decisions to the glaring needs they have to address this offseason. But here's what really caught my attention and had me jumping off my couch. The discussion about a potential blockbuster trade that could completely transform the 49ers offense. The name at the center of it all is A.J. Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles, and the analysis the First Take crew did on why this move could actually happen was absolutely fascinating. I'm here to break down everything they said because, if you're a Niners fan, this is must-know information. Let me set the scene for you because there's a lot of context that matters here. First Take opened the 49ers segment with some positive news. Clay Kubiak is staying aboard as San Francisco's offensive coordinator. The Raiders and the Steelers both wanted to interview him for their head coaching position, but he said no. He's staying with the 49ers. Stephen A. Smith praised this decision, talking about how Kubiak has been with the team since 2021 when he started as a defensive quality control coach, and how he's developed into one of the best young offensive minds in the game under Kyle Shanahan's mentorship. Hey, what's up, everyone? Real quick before we get into everything. That like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second, but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly, the biggest way to support this content. Every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. The analysts spent some time discussing Kubiak's journey and why keeping him is such a big deal for San Francisco. They talked about the parallel between Kubiak's career path and Kyle Shanahan's own development as a coach. Shanahan started as a defensive quality control assistant with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers under John Gruden back in 2005, and Kubiak followed a similar track. The family connections were also discussed, with Kubiak's father, Gary, having worked under Mike Shanahan and been a former 49ers backup quarterback in the 1990s. All of this creates a coaching tree that the First Take crew found fascinating. But here's where the discussion got really interesting. The analysts pivoted to talking about what the 49ers need to do to maximize this coaching talent they have in place. Stephen A. Smith was emphatic that having great coaches means nothing if you don't have the players to execute the system. And the biggest hole on this 49ers roster, the most glaring need that has to be addressed, is at the wide receiver position. The First Take crew went deep into the 49ers receiver struggles from the 2025 season. They talked about how the offense was still highly efficient thanks to the play calling and Brock Purdy's development, but the explosiveness wasn't there. And the lack of explosiveness wasn't the fault of the coaches or the quarterback. It was because they didn't have the separators they needed at wide receiver. The Brandon Ayuk situation was described as brutal for San Francisco, with his departure leaving a massive hole in the offense. The analysts pulled up some advanced metrics to illustrate the point. They talked about yards per route run, which is considered one of the best stats for evaluating receivers within the context of an offense. For a wide receiver one, you need at least one guy over 2 yards per route run. The 49ers had Ricky Pearsall at 2.38 yards per route run over the first 4 weeks of the season, and the offense was humming along. But then, Pearsall got hurt with a PCL injury. And after that, the 49ers didn't have a single receiver cross that threshold for the rest of the season. Stephen A. Smith made a passionate argument about how the 49ers wasted a season of elite coaching and quarterbacking because they didn't have the weapons at receiver. He talked about how Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle and the play calling took the offense to a certain level, but they simply couldn't raise the profile from an explosiveness standpoint because they didn't have the speed and separation at the receiver position. That's when A.J. Brown's name came into the discussion, and the First Take panel got really animated. Stephen A., being the Philadelphia guy that he is, had a lot to say about the situation with Brown and the Eagles. He talked about how Brown has demonstrated public frustration with the offense and his role on the team during the 2025 season. The fact that Brown didn't speak with media for the last month of the season, including after their playoff loss to the 49ers, was brought up as evidence of serious internal issues. One of the analysts laid out the case for why the Eagles might actually trade Brown, and it was compelling. First, there's the player satisfaction issue. Brown clearly isn't happy in Philadelphia, and having a disgruntled star receiver creates a toxic environment that can spread to the rest of the locker room. Second, there's the financial angle. The Eagles could reportedly save around $7 million in cap space if they trade Brown after June 1, 2026, which would give them flexibility for other moves. Third, the organization might simply want to avoid another season full of speculation about the player's happiness and his relationship with the coaching staff and quarterback Jalen Hurts. Stephen A. Smith jumped in with his insider perspective on the Eagles' situation. He talked about how the relationship between Brown and the organization has deteriorated to the point where both sides might be better off moving on. When a player of Brown's caliber is that unhappy, when he's refusing to speak to media, when the body language is clearly negative, sometimes the best solution is a fresh start for everyone involved. The discussion then shifted to why the 49ers would be the perfect landing spot for A.J. Brown. And this is where the first take analysis got really exciting. The analysts talked about how San Francisco is in a championship window right now. They have an elite quarterback in Brock Purdy. They have an elite running back in Christian McCaffrey. They have an elite tight end in George Kittle. They have elite coaching with Shanahan and Kubiak. The one missing piece is that true alpha receiver who can dominate on the outside. One analyst made a point that I thought was brilliant. He said that the 49ers offense under Shanahan has always been dangerous, but it reaches another level entirely when they have a legitimate number one receiver. He referenced the 2023 season when they had Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel healthy, and that offense was historically good. Adding someone like A.J. Brown, who is even better than what they had, could make this the most explosive offense in NFL history. The fit in Kyle Shanahan's system was discussed extensively. The analysts talked about how Brown is a physically dominant receiver who can win contested catches, create separation with his route running, and take the top off defenses with his speed. That's exactly what Shanahan needs to make his offense truly unstoppable. Having a receiver like Brown on the outside would open up even more space for McCaffrey in the running game, create easier throws for Purdy, and make every aspect of the offense more dangerous. Stephen A. Smith brought up Brown's production numbers to emphasize just how good he is. 4 consecutive seasons with over 1,000 receiving yards, multiple Pro Bowl selections, one of the most dominant receivers in the game over the past several years, and he's still relatively young, turning 29 in June 2026, which means he has several prime years left. Adding that type of proven production to a 49ers offense that's already efficient would be terrifying for opposing defenses. The First Take panel also discussed the potential trade compensation and whether the 49ers could realistically make this happen. The Eagles aren't going to give away a player like Brown, so the 49ers would need to put together an attractive package. The analysts speculated about what it might take, possibly including draft picks, maybe some young players, perhaps some creative salary cap maneuvering to make the numbers work. One analyst made the point that the 49ers have shown a willingness to be aggressive when they see an opportunity to win. They traded for Christian McCaffrey. They've made other bold moves in the past. If they believe A.J. Brown is the missing piece that puts them over the top, they might be willing to pay a premium to get him. Championship opportunities don't come around often, and the 49ers are clearly in win-now mode. The defensive coordinator search was also mentioned as context for the broader picture of what the 49ers are trying to build. The analysts talked about how Raheem Morris would be Kyle Shanahan's favorite to be defensive coordinator if they can get him. Morris has a background coaching both offense and defense, having been the defensive coordinator for the Rams when they won the Super Bowl in 2021, but also having worked as Shanahan's wide receivers coach with the Atlanta Falcons in 2016. That dual perspective gives him an understanding of how to attack opposing offenses. Stephen A. made a connection between the coaching decisions and the potential roster move. He argued that the 49ers are building something special, and they're doing it methodically. Keep the offensive coordinator who has proven he can design plays. Try to get a defensive coordinator who understands both sides of the ball. And then add the final piece on offense, a dominant receiver who can take the coaching and quarterbacking to the next level. A.J. Brown fits perfectly into that vision. The First Take crew also discussed other receiver options the 49ers might consider if they can't get Brown. Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers was mentioned as a potential free agent target who could provide some of the speed and separation they need. The possibility of trading for Justin Jefferson was briefly discussed, though the analysts acknowledged that would require an enormous trade package and is unlikely given the Vikings' dead cap implications of around $46 million. But the consensus was clear. A.J. Brown is the best realistic option for the 49ers if they want to truly transform their offense. He's available because of the situation in Philadelphia. He's proven at the highest level. He's still in his prime, and he would fit perfectly into what Kyle Shanahan wants to do offensively. The opportunity is there if the 49ers want to be aggressive. Stephen A. Smith's closing argument was passionate, and I think it resonated with 49ers fans everywhere. He said that this franchise has been knocking on the door of a Super Bowl championship for years now. They've had heartbreaking losses. They've come so close multiple times. The coaching is there. The quarterback is there. The running game is there. The one thing that's been missing consistently is that dominant receiver who can make plays when it matters most. A.J. Brown is that type of player. If the 49ers have a chance to get him, they have to pursue it aggressively. The analysts also touched on the Steelers hiring Mike McCarthy as their head coach, which Stephen A. found hilarious given the history. McCarthy was the 49ers offensive coordinator back in 2005, during what the First Take crew called the Dark Ages. He was one of the people who advocated for the 49ers to draft Alex Smith over Aaron Rodgers. Stephen A. joked that the Steelers would have been much better off hiring Clay Kubiak, who declined their interview request, than bringing in McCarthy, who hasn't done anything impressive in over a decade. The point was made that the 49ers are making smart decisions right now, while other franchises are making questionable ones. Keeping Kubiak is smart. Pursuing elite talent at receiver is smart. Building around proven coaches and a young quarterback is smart. The 49ers are positioning themselves to compete for championships for years to come, and adding A.J. Brown would be the cherry on top. One final point that the First Take panel emphasized was the urgency of the situation. The 49ers' championship window is open right now, but windows don't stay open forever. Brock Purdy is on a rookie contract, which gives them salary cap flexibility. The coaching staff is intact and excellent. The core players are in their prime. This is the time to be aggressive, to make bold moves, to go all in on winning a championship. A.J. Brown represents exactly that type of aggressive move. So, there you have it, folks. That's everything First Take covered about the potential arrival of A.J. Brown to the San Francisco 49ers. The coaching stability with Clay Kubiak staying, the desperate need for a dominant receiver, the troubles in Philadelphia that might make Brown available, the perfect fit in Kyle Shanahan's system, and the championship window that's open right now. It's a fascinating possibility that could completely transform this franchise's chances of winning a Super Bowl. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on all the off-season news and updates, and I'll make sure to bring you the latest information as soon as anything breaks. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Drop a comment below, letting me know what you think. Would you want A.J. Brown on the 49ers? What would you be willing to give up to get him? Do you think the Eagles will actually trade him? I want to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.